Joining us now is Illinois Republican co-chair Aaron Del Mar. Aaron, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. So I think the economy was a driving force in this election, and the president has promised tariffs. Do you think tariffs are a win for the American economy?
I think when applied in the correct manner, I think it's a pretty good tool that we can use to try to level out where we are on a global stage. You know that for many, many decades, China has been manipulating their currency. They've been an unfair trade partner. We've seen a lot of bad acting on behalf of many other countries in the United States. And I think there's an opportunity for us by using tariffs when it's a good tool to level that field.
Talk about Donald Trump making big gains in areas that Republicans don't normally get with minority voters, also the youth vote, and talk about some other inroads.
Sure. I think that Donald Trump's campaign was incredibly disciplined versus the 2020 campaign when they ran it. I mean, I got to give credit to Chris LaCivita and the campaign chair over there for doing an outstanding job. Really, they did an outstanding messaging campaign. And when he highlighted his plan for the next 4 years for America and what his vision would be, I think that it resonated in a lot of different places. I think some of the little sideshows that he did with, riding around in a dump truck, working at the fry counter at McDonald's, things like that also created some extra little excitement. But really, if you've ever attended one of his rallies, if you've ever seen the way that they've reached out not only on social media, but on their campaign mailers and their sign campaigns and their grassroots door knocking program, you have to give him credit for just doing a really well-run campaign. And you saw that he overperformed. I mean, he overperformed in Illinois. Most people thought that Donald Trump would lose in Illinois between 800,000 and 1 million votes. He cut that in half. I think he's losing by 400,000 here. He overperformed with black males. He overperformed with Latinos, Asians. I mean, almost every demographic, even young people. If you look at how he carried Penn State, that county in Pennsylvania. It's something that not a lot of people thought was going to happen. It was very interesting to see. Yeah. And as more information comes out, it'll be good to dissect.
Immigration, another big issue here that Trump was pushing. Do you expect his administration to begin rounding up people and perhaps their families from the beginning?
No, I don't see any mass deportations on that level. I don't see anybody coming in and kicking down doors and grabbing people and putting them on trucks and sending them back to the border. I do think that immediately there's going to be a lot more border control. I think that we're going to stem the tide of illegal immigrants coming into the United States, some bad actors bringing in nefarious items. And I think that is going to be one of the key points of policies that he's going to enact probably on day one. But no, I do not see any of that. I think that that was more political rhetoric than anything else.
Aaron, it seemed like this race was not as close as the pollsters thought it would be. Do you think a lot of Republicans or people in general just don't answer poll questions?
I think traditionally Donald Trump polls very poorly. A lot of people don't like being public about their voting preference, especially when it comes to President Trump, who's been very decisive on some of his political rhetoric during the campaign. So when people are calling or texting to try to get those polls through, people either won't answer the question or they'll say, no, I'm voting for somebody else. And then the silent majority goes to the polls and votes for him. And that's something that I think you saw last night. I mean, most of the races were within the margin of error, but for him to run the table on all the swing states is incredibly shocking, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Aaron Del Mar, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.